Alrighty, let's do some recap, shall we? We started a new series in April, which was last Sunday. And we were really talking about how do we really take what we learn in the books and make it a reality in our world. Remember? How do we take our inventory of all these fabulous ideas and actually live them? So we talked about where you literally are living is where your thoughts are. Was anybody aware of that this week, where you let your thoughts go? Something would happen, you go, what have I been thinking? I know you all did that, yes? What have I been thinking? Okay. Are you living in a world of challenges overall? Are you living in a world of blessings? All this is about where is our focus. We talked about being in the flow of God's love. I'm in the flow of God's love and my needs are met. Do you remember that was our assignment? To stay, I'm in the flow of God's love and my needs are met. I'm a child of God. God loves me and all my needs are met. Our goal this month was to create a space where our thoughts recognize and expect Spirit to flow. Where we recognize and expect Spirit to flow in our world and through us, and where our identity is about being a child of God, where we can actually begin to live our divinity. How are we doing?
Good.
Baby steps? Okay. A good goal? Okay. I have about a 10% buy-in. So, those of you that are buying in, this Sunday service will be great for you. The rest of you take notes. Our lives will never become a reality until we actually invest our energy in it. So, remember, our goals are to make the metaphysical beliefs real. This happens when our thoughts and our emotions are aligned with our spirit. When our thoughts and our emotions are aligned with spirit, then we become aware. We're a conscious presence of spirit. We are aware of our own spirit. We love being aware of God, yes? But this will be when we're aware that we too are one with God. So it'll create experiences that we enjoy. It'll allow us to express ourselves in new ways. Fabulous new opportunities lie ahead. Yay! Thank you, 10%.
11.
Okay, about one. All right. This is a space where you're inspired, you're filled with hope. There is a new way. You take this into a new daily life. All right. That's our goal. Now I wanted to talk to you about what we typically do as humans. Ready? Yep. Okay. From the time we're little, we are taught to create a pattern. We're taught that there are patterns that we must live within. From the time you're little, you wake at a certain time, you typically eat at a certain time, you typically dress a certain way, you're enrolled in school before you know it. All the freedom you had as a toddler is vague memories, if you even have that. And you show up and you do what's asked of you, and you show up and you do what's asked of you, and then you do it, and then you go to bed, and then you have this repeated pattern that you go through every day. Everybody understand that? I will give you an analogy which will become obsolete at some point. But imagine with me an ice tray, which we will not have in 20 years, I'm sure. But does everybody remember ice trays? Thank you. So you put water in the tray, and then the water freezes to the shape of the little squares or whatever your ice tray happens to be. The pattern in your world is the ice tray. And every morning we get up and we pour our little spiritual self into the ice tray, and then we get up and we put our makeup on the same way, ladies. Guys, we dress the same way. We do whatever we're supposed to do. We show up where we're supposed to show up. We go through our world. We do what our work is, blah, blah, blah. And then we get back normally exhausted. And a lot of people will feel, you may not, but a lot of people will feel, while I did my day, I had no choice. My choices were gone. I had to show up, had to do what I had to do, do what I had to do, do what I had to do. This creates the consciousness of, thank God for Friday, thank God for 5 o'clock, I can breathe again. And you may not live there, but all of us have been there at some point, where we're putting ourselves through a pattern that takes away our choice. When you take away your choice, you take away your divinity. You're a free will child of God. When you take away your choice, you take away your divinity. Okay? So, how do we begin to move through the world without succumbing to patterns? And these patterns are filled with expectations that we have of ourselves. How we need to perform, what levels we need to meet. Do you realize you do this to yourself? Your boss doesn't even do it to you. You do it to yourself. Where do I need to rise? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And at the end of the day, some of us, even exhausted, will say, well, I didn't quite do enough today. Does anybody do that? Yes. Okay. That was the other 90%. So, all right. When we give up choice, we give up our divinity. I wanted to share with you a story, so hold on my thoughts. We're going to shift gears for a second. You know, Jesus said, priest, another name for priest is example. So I shall be example today for you. And this is, so you got to ride the wave with me on this one, and I'll wrap it back around so you'll understand exactly my point. This week, I have been working, doing my job, going to my little ice cube, my little ice drink. And I have, as you all know, been interviewing and reviewing resumes to try to find our administrative assistant. And I've been through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of resumes, probably at this point close to 1,000. And I've had many, 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 many interviews. Well, last week I just plowed through another ream of them, and I selected maybe 10, maybe 12. And Charmaine helped us out on Monday. And so I gave her a stack of 10 to 12. Some of them were real heavy hitters, good quality. I knew they could do the work. They were strong candidates, you know. Some of them were a little interesting because, you know, the words you choose on a resume does not necessarily depict what you're capable of doing. And I could see they were in an environment they probably know what they're doing. You know, so I had some of those that were, I would call them lighter quality, but they were young and trainable, and, you know, and there was one I kept looking at, and I put it down. She was light, but I wanted to put her in the no pile, but I just couldn't. So I just threw her in the pile, and I said, well, if Charmaine books her, that's fine. So Charmaine got me 7 interviews on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday is my day off. The one day I take to let myself flow freely in the world. But I define that Wednesday as the one day that if there's work that needs to be done for the church, that's when I do it. How often do you think I flow freely in the world? Not often. It's another little tray of ice cubes. So, Charmaine booked me 7 interviews. I was excited. 7 interviews. I had some heavy hitters coming in. I had some of the little younger girls coming in. I was excited. Came in early, ready to go. I'm happy. Thank you, God. So my first girl, and I talked to most of these girls already, so I like them already. I like their voices. So my first girl is a heavy hitter. She's fully qualified. I'm here. I'm ready. She no-shows. No phone call, no email, nothing. Oh, okay, so I get busy doing something else. Well, that's okay, I've got another one coming in an hour. So hour comes up, my next girl comes in, and she's sweet. She's one of my lighter girls, she's sweet. We have a timing issue that her hours won't match our needs, so right off the bat, we had a 5-minute chat. And it was okay. She left, and she was good and happy, and we're good. She's apologized. I should have told you in the beginning, but I thought you could work with me. It's like, no. Can't do that. So she left, and I worked some more. Bonnie's so happy I had this free time. I got caught up on so many things. So my next one, I was excited. She's another heavy hitter. Fully qualified, liked her energy when I spoke to her. I'm so excited. Going to interview this girl. She no-shows. At this point, I'm saying, okay, God, you're saving me, aren't you? These girls just may not, they would not be a good match, because I probably would have hired them on the spot. You know? Okay, so they're not good for me. I can accept that. Okay, I've got some more coming in. I've got another heavy hitter coming in. The next one came in, and she was sweet. Very qualified in graphic arts. Not what I need. And we had a lovely conversation. It was great. Didn't close the door totally, but not exactly right. And then I thought, well, next one's a heavy hitter, a third heavy hitter, totally qualified, gonna make it happen. This is great. I'm not disappointed at all. Next appointment, no-showed. I had 3 heavy hitters, all 3 no-showed. And I talked to all 3 of them. And I talked to this one that morning via text, via email. I'm shocked. God, it's okay. I know you've got something in mind, and I know I probably would have hired him on the spot, and maybe they're not right for it. Thank you. Okay, so I have this girl comes in, my next one, and she's the lightest one. It's the resume I kept trying to put down. And she came in, and she was so sweet. Tiny mother, single mom, so sweet. And so I'm kind of like, not my effervescent, hello. I'm like, hello. How are you? And she's great. And so I'm looking at her resume, and I'm trying to get and I don't pray with these candidates because I'm interviewing. So I'm not hooked into their spirit. I'm not reading them necessarily. So this beautiful girl is sitting in front of me. She's a young lady, very sweet. And I'm looking at her resume. I'm trying to comprise the questions that would be probing enough for me to understand really what was she doing. What has she been doing? So I'm working on my questions, and I'm asking her very careful, specific questions to try to get information from her first. And I hear this voice start talking to me. And I just hear it talking to me, and it's saying, about her. Oh, she's really sweet, she's a good girl, she's very honest, she's very this, very that. And I'm just kind of like trying to focus. And then the voice says, be nice to her. And I went, what? And then the voice said, look at her foot. She's wiggling her foot. She's very nervous. And I went, okay, stop. I looked at my girl, and I said, do you have a grandparent on the other side that watches over you? She was in tears like that. She broke into tears. It was her grandmother. And her grandmother had been gone for a few years, but her grandmother had raised her. And she's crying, and she said, you don't know how hard it's been. It's been so hard. And so I start telling her what her grandmother's saying. Her grandmother's telling her this, and telling her that, telling her the other thing. And she's crying the whole time. And my heart's just going out to this sweet girl. And in the course of it, her grandmother's saying, and this isn't your job. You need to be closer to your kids. And so, I'm saying, at the end, I say, well, if your grandmother told you that, you need to ask her where your job is. So we kind of just had to end at that point. So we were walking out the door. She looked at me and she said, what? How do you learn to hear like that? And I said, meditate. I meditate every day. And her eyes popped open. She said, that's what God told me last night. God told me to meditate last night. And she was so touched. And so I walked her out and gave her a quiet mind and sent her on her way. And she just kept saying, you do not know what this means to me. You do not know what this means to me. And so we ended our little thing. And of course, my mind went back to, I have another interview. And my other interview was way too light, and that was the end of my day. So I went home, and I didn't get upset with anything for a little while. I've been doing really good all day because I've been saying to myself, God provides my needs. But I want you to hear what I did. By the end of the afternoon, I do a tweet. I'm supposed to do one every day, but I don't always get around to it because I don't have help right now. But anyway. And my tweet was supposed to be, God loves me and my needs are met. And my tweet was, God's in charge and my needs are met. And then David Farner texted me, God loves you. You're right. Okay, God loves me, and God's in charge. Well, I had a little bit of I don't know what I'm doing about this job. I don't know why did it happen this way. I went home, and I still can't put the pieces together. I can't put the pieces together. My intention to interview and hire, out the window. And Spirit said the next morning when I could finally hear, this beautiful wave of guides, multiple guides and angels came over me, and they said to me, Cindy, what if yesterday was all about touching that one girl's heart? What if that's all it was about? What if we knew that was the only way to get her here, and you are the only one She has been asking God for help. She lives toward the city. She doesn't live near us. She's been begging for God's assistance, feeling lonely, and needed someone to reach out to her. What if we set the whole day up just for her? Are you okay with that? That's what they asked me. I said, yes, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And I breathed and let it go. And when you think about, she had no one accessible to her that could reinforce or guide or show her that what she was getting from Spirit was real, that could connect her with encouragement. When we move in the energy of love, we can find our right and perfect place. When I set out that morning, do you not know my ice tray was packed with intention? I was packed with intention of what I logically needed to do to find us our perfect person that God was sending to us. I knew that. And my ice tray got dumped in the ground. You see? But if we are truly going to learn to walk with God, in Spirit, God flows through me. The Spirit of God flows through me. We have to be willing to see love. We have to be willing to let our expectations of the pattern that we always live through open. Open. Does this make sense? And not be mad at ourselves and not be upset that our expectations of our pattern were not met for that moment. We in InnerQuest, when we're teaching our congregants to heal, use me as a channel of healing love. Use me as a channel of healing love. Give me the words to say for my client, for that person. When we become children of God, we are always channels of that divine light, are we not? We're always that. And that love needs to be greater than the pattern that we walk in every day. So, patterns superimpose expectations that negate our looking for love. Patterns superimpose expectations that negate our looking for love. Think about when you're at your place of business and everybody does something. I don't care if you're staying home all day. You're doing something. Think about when you're doing your thing and someone comes to you and they interrupt you. Hey! And you go, bam! You're in my way. I'm doing something. I have a timetable. Do you see? So this pattern that we go through, it superimposes over our natural wanting to be a child of God. Over the meditation we did that morning, to be a child of God. Do you see? All right. If we allow that, it will superimpose over our thoughts of God as well. So, Jesus never said to the people, stop working. Do you realize every person he healed, he sent back into their own life? He never said, now that you're healed, come sit on the mountaintop and meditate all day, and you shall do nothing in the world. No, he said, go back into your world. Now go be what you have learned. Be health, be whole, be life. When the people were toiling, he didn't say stop toiling. He said, find joy, get your eyes up to God. Look at the heavens and expect love, and then your work is going to become joyful. Then the one parable that he gave about the farmer was farming, and it was arduous, and a miner came by and said, dude, why are you farming? You're on a gold mine. You should be digging. Remember that parable? You should be digging. You got gold under that land. What's wrong with you? Why are you farming it? And the guy got a shovel, and he started digging. He changed his work, but he still worked. He still worked. We are here to contribute. We're here to express. We're here to give our light. We're here to create. We're not here not to create. But the minute we give ourselves an assignment, that pattern, that ice tray that we put ourselves in, now supersedes what we know ourselves to be. Divine. Divine. I can tell you And you guys know, it's been a while, I've been working on this admin. God, bring us our admin. They just keep asking me, do you trust Cindy? Yeah, I trust. Well, maybe my person isn't ready yet. But when it comes, it'll be perfect. Our person, our church person will be perfect when they get here. And with the eyes of love, I would not trade my Thursday or my Wednesday experience for anything. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Because I got to help a heart. You see? If we're really going to take all of the teachings out of the books and into our lives, the Son of God's got to be the one in charge. And these patterns that we put on ourselves, we need to let them be open. Doesn't mean you don't show up and do your job, but you do it looking for love. Look for love. I remember when I first started metaphysics, people would say, you got to shake your brain up. Shake your brain up. Do something different. Brush your teeth with the opposite hand. Put your pants on with the other leg first. Drive a different way to work. Anything you can do to make your brain awake so you don't go into subconscious behavior. Do anything different. And I could tell you to do that. And it would be fun, and you would do it for maybe 3 days. Maybe. And then your subconscious mind would say, well, let's do a different pattern. And it would take over again, and you'd be in your ice tray, and there you'd go, creating another pattern. So try it. It's kind of fun. But what Spirit wants us to try is to get up every single day and look for love. Every single day and look for love. You know? In everything. Even when it's uncomfortable, look for love. Now, if we look for love, God is love, I am love. As I seek love, what do I seek? God. As I express love, what do I express? God. I walk as love, and then I have conscious contact with love. And that is how we Christ. Conscious contact with the love that's flowing to us and through us. It's very easy, isn't it? It's very easy. So, and it's so empowering. When you love somebody, you have no idea the ultimate impact you will have on them. When we love, we impact. When we love, we allow ourselves choice. When we love, we are expressing God. All right, shall we anchor? All right, let's put our feet on the floor. God, we ask that your love just engulf us. And I ask that we are now in our own sacred space, that there is a beautiful light that surrounds us so we can experience and feel ourselves. And I would invite each of you just to feel perhaps an angel with you, or some loving being, or Jesus Christ standing by your side, whoever comes forward. And just lift up, just a little bit up that column of light. So you are clear. And I want you to feel the clarity of your energy. And now we want to call forth a vision of ourselves as we begin our day in our pattern. And just notice the energy shift. Get a vision of yourself with the pattern you take into your world. For some of you, it may not be too constricting. But notice, does it look like you are free? Does it look like you can choose? Does it look like you are loved? And I want you to look at that person before you, that part of you that gets up every day and goes. And I want you to send love to them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanking me for getting up and going. And in your mind, just see a beautiful love sweeping the pattern away. And see what you would look like without that pattern. And let the vision go. Just let it go. Feel the light around you now. Feel the guardian with you, whoever is by your side. And I want you to realize you can choose. I choose how I walk, and I choose where I walk. I choose. And just feel God's love infilling, surrounding, enfolding, and uplifting you. And feel the choice is still yours. So let's bring that energy back today. Take a breath and bring that beautiful energy of choosing back into this room. Divine child of God. Infinite potential is within me. And I choose love. God bless all those here. Bless all those that choose. And let there be heaven on earth. And we thank you. And so it is. Take a breath. Send your love into the room. All right. You know what I will ask you next week. How did you do? Focusing on love. And I'm expecting 100%. Yay, we did great. Say yay, God.
Yeah.